So I'd like to introduce Mark, the CEO and co-founder of Fletch.
The United States of America did not become the most powerful country in human history by marching soldiers across the field of battle. We became great by marching legions of university students across the graduation stage. Currently, half of America's college students don't complete this march. That means that today, 50% of American college students will not graduate. That means you get the debt, but you get no degree. You have trouble paying it off. We have debt for families and students in criminal proportions. That means that for colleges, you're losing $15 billion every year to college dropouts. And as a society, the land of opportunity, this is the ultimate threat because opportunity is predicated on education. But there is a solution. I'm Marquett Burton, CEO and founder of Fletch. We believe that if we can have every college student included in an academic community that is peer-driven, we can retain them. We know this because Ohio State's Office of Institutional Research points out that meaningful peer relationships are the leading factor in college retention. We know this instinctively, right? I remember being an undergraduate at the University of California, Berkeley. You're in that lecture hall. There are 300 other people in there. But when class is over, all 300 people split and go their separate ways. Might as well have been you by yourself. Next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. You're cramming on this econ problem set, and then you get stuck. You're thinking, gee, it'd be nice to have someone to work with, or at the very least to have a way to get a quick answer to get past this challenge. The great irony is that all 300 of those students are mostly doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, all isolated, separately. That's why we created Fletch, so that students can have academic and social inclusion and they don't have to face the challenges of university alone, so that they're able to more easily adjust to the college environment. Fletch is a college retention solution in the form of a native iPhone and Android application with web support that empowers you to invite any one of your classmates to a study group with just 3 taps on your phone, or get a quick answer at 2 a.m. when you're cramming for that midterm. On the back end, we have an algorithm that in real time is able to identify which students are academically disengaged or at risk of dropping out. And we're able to take on-campus resources and target those specifically to the students who need those resources most. We know that this is important to students because last academic term, we piloted, and within just 3 months of starting, we had 10,000 students using our technology. The really important thing to understand about that is of the classrooms we went into, we had 90% adoption of a technology that professors and colleges did not mandate you to use. You said, I'm a student and this makes sense to me. And that's something that was really phenomenal for us. And secondly, DeVry also said, this is something we think is important. And that's because they realize with the increase of students taking online education, who are commuters, who are part-time, who have families, it's increasingly important to have a way to make them feel connected and included in that academic environment. So after learning a lot from a highly successful pilot, we decided to join the Cool House Labs Accelerator. We wanted to take the student voices and implement the things we learned. Students said, we really enjoy being able to get those quick academic answers when we really need them, which is at 2 a.m. when we're cramming, not when the professor is available for office hours. They said, but we don't want to have answers to questions like this. I'm a freshman at University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and I really want to do well. I'm considering joining a fraternity. Do you think that'll make my grades go down? So we added a feature that allows students to post questions to the campus at large, non-academic questions. We also found that we had tremendous amount of organic interest in our technology. So we made sure that students who are perhaps at English-speaking colleges abroad or at smaller schools that aren't in our database can add their classes as well as their schools to our database to access the technology. And lastly, we improved our user experience and we created a bold new look. Let's take a look at Fletch. You log in with social media, you'll select your classes and your university from a pre-populated list. And the great thing is that all the information from all of your classes populates into the home feed. Everything crowdsourced from other students, notes, questions, answers, study groups associated with a given class. And what you can do is you can filter this home feed to see things that are particular to the campus, non-academic, or you can filter it to see a specific class. And the thing that we noticed in our pilot is students immediately click View Class Roster. They want to see who else is in their class. We ensure that we maintain students' privacy, first name only, shows your major. And the neat thing is that it's open network. It's not like Facebook. You can reach out to anyone. You might say, okay, this guy participates in a lot of study groups, makes a ton of comments, looks like a cool guy. I think I might work with him. Invite him to a study group. Every study group is goal-oriented. You have to state an objective. It's limited so that you can invite up to 7 people so that it is the appropriate size of a learning team according to the Wharton School of Business. The great thing is leading up to that actual study group, you can collaborate, and once the study group is over, you have a record of everything that occurred. One little story I want to tell you is there's a college in California, Cal State Northridge, and I saw students create a study group, join this study group to put $20 on the chem textbook. And so everyone joined that, and they pieced up together to buy those expensive textbooks. To me, that's really important because what it tells us is that our college ambassador program is working. Students view this as a brand that is managed and disseminated by students like them. They would have never posted that on Blackboard or on Facebook. They posted it on Fletch. And our college ambassador program really supports our business model because what it allows us to do, instead of saying, hey, University of Michigan, buy our technology, we get to say, we already have 7,000 of your students using our technology. We'd love to talk to you about how we can use the data that we have to target your fantastic on-campus resources to the students who actually need them. So our business model is pretty simple. We license our platform as well as our back-end data to universities at 5 times total enrollment. So if your college has 10,000 students, that would be about $50,000 per annum to use our technology. But why? Why would you want to use Fletch? Well, if you're a college, how do you know when a student's disengaged from their academics? How do you know when they're at risk of dropping out? Well, you really don't know when they're disengaged from their academics until the F comes out on their report card and their parents are a little bit displeased. You really don't know when they're socially disconnected till they drop out. So we're able to tell you that in advance. And the most important thing for us is the increased resource utilization. Because what's the use of having a counselor who's sitting in there with an empty office? What's the use of having math tutors when they're tutoring one person when they could instead tutor 4 people who have the same challenge? And that's our big value add to colleges. Here's an example in our backyard. Let's look at University of Michigan, Flint. Very typical of American colleges right now. 63% of their students never graduate. And what that translates to is $11 million lost from college dropouts every year at University of Michigan, Flint. Now think about it this way. They have about 7,000 students. We charge them about $35,000 a year to use our technology. If we retain 2 students, the technology would pay for itself. I surmise we can save more than 2 students. And that's the value that we're offering to the colleges that we work with. But the important thing to understand is we are particularly targeting online colleges and community colleges. And what this proposes is a $65 million opportunity every year for us. My CTO, Aditya Halan, has 10 years of experience as a full-stack developer. He has domain-specific experience, having created multiple edtech startups, as well as built learning management systems. To me, this is extremely personal. As Jordan said, I've experience with Teach for America. I've done operations for them. I've worked for several edtech startups. I opened up the West Coast office for EverFi. But the most important thing to me is, yes, I've been a student, but I've also been a teacher. And I had to send my high school students into university knowing that they would not be properly supported to graduate. And that's why it means so much to me. The important thing is that our time is now. We know this because our pilot taught us that students need a tool that they can collaborate on and get quick responses when they need them. The educational system is changing right now. Universities are losing tremendous amounts of revenue every single year. What you may not know is that in the last 3 years, 1.5 million students that would have enrolled decided not to enroll. So we have declining enrollment. What that means is that colleges, to make money, are going to have to see retention as their new business model. And we're going to be their partners in that. Fletch knows that we have phenomenal students in the States. Colleges have phenomenal resources, but what needs to happen is we need to connect those students so that they can benefit from one another. And we need to also be able to connect those resources and the students, and that's what we're here to do. So I want to invite you, fletchapp.com, to support us in our mission to ensure that every single student and every family can have the pleasure of walking across that stage at graduation. Thank you.
So Mark is very charming, and he was one of the most well-dressed people in Northern Michigan I've ever seen.